All right. So is there like a set like questions that you have or anything of that nature?
Well,
Or kind of freestyle it?
I kind of freestyle it, but I work from a template.
Okay.
But the conversation can change because everybody's story is different, and so the follow-up questions are different. This is my first time talking to anybody who does Airbnb, so kind of
Okay, yeah. What and what are like? Is there things we can't say on here and stuff like that?
What do you mean by that question?
Because honestly, like when I got into real estate, it was because of a lot of other things. So like I hopped into real estate and you know what I mean? So I don't know if it like that caters to your audience, so I'll leave that part out or whatever.
No, I think that we should be as transparent as we can be.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, as long as you ain't still doing that, like
no, make way more money now. So it's like no.
And we had that conversation on one of the podcasts that I had before, or another podcast that I have. He was talking about how like the money that people think they can make doing that stuff pales in comparison to what you can really make.
Right. And yeah, that's but it's hard to convince millennials that they don't listen. So
they don't listen. So we'll kick it off. I don't know your last name though.
Holloman.
All right, cool. What part of the country are you in?
I'm in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Yeah.
Do you know Real Estate Baddie?
Real Estate Baddie?
Yeah. So. You don't know her? She's in Virginia. She's in like the Hampton area.
I should know her.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
What's her Instagram?
Real Estate Baddie.
Baddie or Betty?
Baddie like
Baddie like a baddie? Hold on. I looked her up there. No, I ain't never seen her. This her?
I think so, yeah.
No, I ain't never seen her before. Yeah, I ain't never seen her at all. But I just followed her, so.
Cool. I'm gonna kick it off, and
right.
we'll power through this thing. I know it's late where you are.
Okay.
So this is the Top Capital Millionaire Podcast. This is episode 128. My name is Charles Oglesby, also known as Top Millionaire, founder and director of the Top Capital Investment Club, also the founder of Top Acquisitions. We have 10 residential doors, 10 commercial doors, and a barbershop. So cool stuff's going on, man, because I tell people you get 20 doors in a barbershop, you know what's next, whatever the heck we want. And you use your asset column to leverage you into that really cool stuff. You start looking at sports teams, crazy stuff.
Oh, like yeah. Apartment, sports team, all that.
Right. Whatever you want to buy when you play the asset game.
Really?
Then the only question is, what are you going to buy that's going to allow you to buy what you want to buy? So make sure you leave us a rating and review. We like 5-star reviews. We like when you guys repost the screenshot that you're listening to the episode because we always repost it. So help us out with that. It's appreciated. Thank you guys for tuning in. The purpose of this podcast is to share the stories of successful real estate investors and business owners because we believe that business and investing are the true keys to financial success and generational wealth. After doing that a few times today, I actually did it really good. Today, we have a brother named Gene Holloman. He's from Virginia Beach. He goes by the name Real Estate Cash on Instagram. Welcome to the show, man.
Hey, how you doing? It's an honor because I always listen to your shows. So it's just crazy, actually. So
that's dope. That's really cool. So can you tell us where you're from? Can you tell us what life was like growing up and what brought you to where you are now?
Oh yeah. So I'm from Virginia Beach, Virginia. Been living here my whole entire life. Grew up pretty much in a suburban area, suburban neighborhood, both parents. We never had like a whole bunch or whatever, but we had enough to always get by and stuff like that. And like I remember I played football like my whole entire life. Had an academic scholarship and a football scholarship to Virginia State University. It's a HBCU in Petersburg. Petersburg is a very small town. And that's what I went to the college. I went college route, played football. Everybody thought they were going to go to the NFL. And when those dreams come like crashing down, it's like, what do you do next? So fortunately enough for me, I had to come back home after I graduated. I got my master's degree in IT actually, which I don't even use. So I came back home, was looking for jobs for like literally 6 months to a year, like filling out applications every morning, not getting anything back. Everybody wanted you to like literally be like a salesperson or very, very low paying jobs. And I couldn't support my children with that. I have 2 boys. And I couldn't support them with that at all. Not even closely with that amount. So I actually saw a Jay Morrison, I saw his Wake Up Now, and it's crazy. I saw it when I was in college, and my friend introduced me to it, and it's like, you can't make $30,000 like wholesaling a house. I didn't even know the correct term for it at the particular time, and I just was like, you can't do this. There's no way. So what I did is I started educating myself through YouTube, and like when I started watching Jay Morrison, like I got the concept of wholesaling. And I like, a lot of guys, Max Maxwell, Sean Terry. So I really went that route. And I learned about wholesaling, like literally through YouTube, like nothing else. Like I was on YouTube every single day, like from when I woke up to basically when I went to sleep. And then I'm like, okay, if this is all you have to do, then I might as well do it. I don't have nothing else to do. I'm not doing anything else. I'm not working. And I mean, $30,000 is a lot of money. So that's the route I took. I'm actually a licensed agent as well. I went to get my license first. Did horrible because you have to get people pre-approved and a lot of things that I wasn't expecting to have to do. I'm more of a hustler than anything, so this actually fit me better than being a real estate agent. So yeah, I had my agency that I was dealing with. He wasn't too good of a guy, so we kind of fell off, and I'm happy it happened that way. And I ventured off into my own route, and it was a house up the street from my parents' house because I still was living with my parents. It was a house literally up the street from my parents' house. It was a for sale by owner, and this was my very first deal. And it was a for sale by owner in Virginia Beach, in like the town center area. So that's like one of the hottest areas in Virginia Beach or whatever. So I saw it, and I just literally did everything the YouTube video told me to do. They was like, call it, try to build rapport with the seller. Didn't know what I was doing at all. Not even a second. I didn't know what I was doing. I just know what I needed to buy the house for with the formula. So we did an MAO formula, and I think I needed to be at like 120, something like that. And that house needed like a full gut. But everything in Virginia Beach sells for like $250 and better. So our price, those are kind of normal price points. I know that out there in California, y'all paying arm and leg for houses. So that's basically half of $250. So I knew I was in a good position. And then I ended up selling that house for, I think it was like $130, and I made my very first $10,000 like probably like 2 months in to me starting my business. So when I did that, I just literally like repeated the process like over and over. I was calling people because like at first I didn't have any money. So like I literally used to handwrite letters, handwrite everything, like so people could just give me a call. So I was handwriting like 1,000 mailers, and like I get a couple hits because it's a number game, but they weren't really interested. So when I figured out like, hey, I can like hop on the phone with these guys, and I'm a better talker than anything. So I'm like, if I can hop on the phone with these guys and convince them that I'm basically honorable and I can really sell their house for them, and with wholesaling, it's like you say you can basically close on in 14 days, which technically you really can. So it's all cash, close in 14 days. So people like that idea. So because it's kind of instant gratification. So I took that route, and I just really just started hopping on the phone when I figured everything out, how to do it the right way. Like I used to drive for dollars, write addresses down, then I would skip trace the addresses actually. And actually my mom, she actually she helped me by getting a Spokio account. That's the only, because I was literally typing in addresses, or I would type in the person's name and I would get their number from the Spokio account. But I didn't have any money. So my mom like let me use her card to get a Spokio account. And after that, I had my phone. So if I got my phone and I got unlimited numbers and I have no money, that's gonna drive me to call and call and call. And that's what I did over and over. And then when I landed that for sale by owner deal, I dumped like probably $4,000 back into my business to get more leads from list source, because that's how they were telling us to do it at that particular time. And then basically when I figured out how to replicate the whole system, I started hiring out. And so I've been in business for a year and 8 months. I own 5 rental properties. I have one in Hampton, Virginia. That's my very first property I bought, Hampton, Virginia. I got that on subject to deal, like literally no money down, $500 a month, like, and I had to fix it up, but I had money from wholesale. So it was a creative finance deal. And I'm like, people really will let you do stuff like this? And they really do. And I picked my second one up close to, it's called Ocean View. It's right by the water, because we're on the East Coast on the water kind of. So we're right on the water. I picked that one up, and I got that on a creative financing deal. Again, no money down. And when I did that one though, one of my mentors at the time that I was talking with, she told me to Airbnb it. I was familiar with Airbnb, but I didn't understand it, like really. So I'm like, why would I Airbnb this property instead of just regularly rent it out like the one I have in Hampton? And I just recently bought a duplex in Ghent, which is very one of the best neighborhoods in Norfolk, Virginia. And I'm almost finished with that one. I'll be finished at the end of the month, and that's going on with an Airbnb. So when I figured out the Airbnb model, what happened was it was the summertime. So I don't know if you're familiar with like Something in the Water, with this For Real's event. He comes out here. He literally just did it, and it's like a big thing out here. So the people on Airbnb literally were charging like $1,000 a night for people to stay, and I'm just like, how can you do that? Like, how can you charge like $1,000 a night? I didn't know what was going on in a particular time, but all the hotels were sold out. Everything was sold out. So he reached out to Airbnb. They partnered together, and he was like, please open you guys' houses up for this event. And I saw the rates in my neighborhood where it was going for, and I said, I need to finish this house before this event starts. So I finished that house around April. I bought it in March or April, and I finished the house that month. Got it up and running on Airbnb, and from then, like, that property was literally like I was passively making like $8,000 on one property a month. Yeah, wow. Yeah, and that's just because of the location of that property. So that's when I start like, okay, it's the location game now. So like when I took out, like I was making a lot of money from wholesaling, and then I would literally buy houses because I'm like, I can't rely on wholesaling. It's like a job. It is. It's like a job. If you don't systemize it, it's a job. And like I got cold callers and stuff like that, and disposition, acquisition, but I don't want to be hands-on with nothing. I want to really spend my time with my kids, like really. And it's just, everything's like more of for them. So like I already have like my 529 plans with both of them and everything. And I know which houses they're getting like when they all turn 18. It's gonna be very hard for them to fail at life. So basically, like once I basically start like, okay, life is not technically about me anymore. So I'm getting my kids ready for what they'll have to endure so they can have a head start, and hopefully I can get them to understand the importance of real estate so it can be passed down from another generation. Because I'm trying to do 3 generations. I'll be alive for their kids, hopefully. And then after that, they have their kids. I don't know. So I'm just trying to prepare them now, and they're 6 and 3 years old. So of course they don't really. My 6-year-old, he's like, my dad sells houses. Like that's all he sells all day long, and like that just gives me joy because like a lot of us in our community, we look for like instant gratification and through doing dumb things that we should not do. And I'm the person, like I can be that perfect example for you guys because I always didn't come from this at all. I lived a whole different life like 3 years ago, and like I'm not happy for it at all. Like all my friends are in federal penitentiary, and well, one of my friends is in federal penitentiary. The other one's actually like literally told and made statements and everything of that nature. So but thank God, through the grace of God, of course, nothing went down my way. It didn't affect me personally, because I have that one good friend and I take care of him. So it's just things we need to know that, and I make way more money doing real estate than I ever did that. So if we like really broaden our horizon with things that we can do, and it is hard, it is difficult. I'm not gonna say it's not, but once you change your mindset, like you can really overcome, like overcome anything. It's like I manifest everything in my life, which is so crazy.
Well, I feel like I got background. I'm not sure why there's background.
You got background?
Yeah, it's like I hear myself. I hate when that happens. So my question would be, why do you think that as a culture we tend to exist as if like doing everything that's not necessarily going to get us where we need to go is the only way? Like, why is it because it's quick and easy, or what is it?
I feel like, yes, it's quick. It is because it's quick and easy. You hear a lot of rappers rap about it. It's a lot. It's hitting us from every angle, honestly. It's like basically do bad, do bad, do bad, do bad, do bad, do bad. And of course, if you don't have the right guidance along the way, like I said, my father was in my life. So I definitely knew right from wrong. Because like at the end of the day, your dad is not going to let you go off in a wild path. So I just really think it's more so of a lot of influences of what we see, like our favorite rappers, or like we really don't have any heroes, like athletes, rappers. That's who everybody looks up to in our culture. We don't have a Bill Gates. We don't have anything of that nature. So that's why I love like Byron Allen and all these black guys that's doing big, but we rarely hear about them. So I try to highlight those guys. Like those are the guys we need to be, okay, let's get on stuff like that. Because he spent the 300 million for the weather channels. That's boss. That's big boss moves. Like your rappers don't do that at all. Not at all. So it's like, and he owns that. Like that's his, and it can't be taken away from him. And those are the things. Those are the goals I feel like we should strive for. Yeah, and it's just, and it is a culture thing. It really is. It's a culture thing. And when I talk with other cultures, because my mentor is a like 50-year-old white woman, and it's so different. Like I'm like Robin Hood. Like I'm literally getting the information from them, and I literally come back and teach our community. Like literally, I have seminars, I have webinars. I'm having a webinar, matter of fact, on Wednesday, about it. So it's like
we'll have the link for that in the bio.
Oh yeah. So it's just one of those things. Like I've been on both sides, so I understand completely. I get it. But it's once you shift your mindset, it's not anything that can you're really nothing that can stop you, because you're gonna figure it out at the end of the day. You're really gonna figure it out. It has been not one problem that I could not figure out.
One of the things that I like about your story is, well, there's a lot that I like about your story. The first is that you didn't wait until you knew everything to get going. You just got going. And I think that that's so important, because the truth is you'll never know everything. Knowing everything doesn't exist. You probably still don't know everything. I don't know everything. I'm still learning.
Right.
But what happens is you perfect yourself in the process by doing the actual work, by getting on the phone, nervous, and not knowing what you're saying, fumbling over your words, saying the wrong stuff, having to retract on things that you might have said that you shouldn't have said. Like, that's how you learn. You don't learn by scripting that call perfectly and reading it line by line by line. You learn by just getting on the call and pushing through it. And so, like, that's why I'm such a big advocate of just doing the work, taking the action, getting it going, as opposed to planning. And I thought about this today. I was like, the reason why I'm not big on planning is because you don't get your time back. So if I plan and I think and I set that launch up for 6 months from now, I never get that 6 months back. But if I start now, then I get to take advantage of all that 6 months. And then I also get that 6 month launch date I was going to wait for anyway. Yeah. So I'm just very big on that. But another thing that I think is really cool, and I think that it's actually kind of like a challenge to myself, is it seems as though in almost every successful person that I've talked to in here that owns multiple properties that they got without having a bunch of money, cash or credit, is they are wholesalers. And so as a wholesaler, you win in multiple ways. You win because you can wholesale it, but you also win because sometimes you come across that deal that is like, this just makes too much sense not to keep it. Right. And so it's like Jay Morrison says, it's like really, wholesaling isn't necessarily a job as much as it's a strategy. It's just a way to get in the deal. Like, you gotta, like, if you don't come for money, you gotta get on the phone and you gotta start calling people who are gonna let you get their property for little to no money. And that's, I'm sure that, like, it's a combination of things. You being able to position yourself so that you're in front of the seller as opposed to going through a wholesaler, so that you can get that subject to, because a wholesaler is not going to give you a subject to.
At all.
They want that cash.
Right.
But if you become the wholesaler, then you get all the deals. You get to get real creative with how you come out of that deal.
Yeah. So my like with my Ocean View property, the way I was trying to wholesale it, that's the crazy part. I was trying to wholesale it, but we were too high on the price. And then, like, I was like, okay, let me just try this creative. I'm like, look, would you be open to let me take over your mortgage? Whatever. He's like, because he had another house he was paying for in Williamsburg. It's kind of by like Busch Gardens and stuff like that. And he was like, look, I literally was just about to stop making payments on his house because I can't keep making payments on his house. And I was like, okay. And the house was trashed. Then it had mold damage and everything. I bought it back. I probably spent like, I don't know, like $15,000 to bring everything back and furnish it and everything. So I got it up and running. He definitely was like, okay, I'll sell it to you. He's like, I'll sell it to you on these terms, and you just take over my mortgage. And I submitted them. I submitted that paperwork so quick to my lawyer. I just was like, okay, let's go. Let's do this. All right. And I went in there like literally the next day with the cashier's check, and we closed. And that just showed me the power of real estate. Like, cause you never know what anybody's going through. It's people like that own $1 million houses, and they cannot afford those payments, guys. And it doesn't matter. All it is extra zeros. So matter of fact, I wholesaled a house in Chicks Beach, and that was probably my biggest wholesale. Well, it was my biggest wholesale to date. And that's really kind of what shifted my mindset. It was literally on the beach, literally on the beach. The guy's mother passed, and he called me from a abandoned sign from another property that I had in Chicks Beach, 2 doors down. But I had that one, and I was trying to wholesale that one, but I had it too high at price. And mind you, like, these guys were doing crazy things down there. They tore a house down for $500,000. Like, yeah, so it's the California numbers down the ocean. Yeah, so right, and it resold for like 1.8. So I mean, I knew the numbers. I knew where I needed to be. So I think I locked it up at like, what was it, like 320 something. I was really low, and then he signed it like that day, and I knew from that day I needed to buy more houses. I was like, if I don't buy more houses, because at the end of the day, money's a tool. Right? Money's a tool to make more money, and it's nothing more, nothing less. That's it. Once you learn how to make money, you can make money over and over and over. You can go broke and still make money, regardless. Right. So I knew the game. I was just like, I need assets, and like I didn't really know the stock market and things like that. So I was like, houses. So I already had one in Hampton at a particular time, rented out, and I only rented that out for like $1,000, so it was like $500 cash flow. And then I have a house in, well, I had Chicks Beach. Well, I tried to get that on owner financing as well, and I was gonna make that like a beach house. He just wanted the cash. So after I got that one, I got my Ocean View property. And when I had got that, that's the one I Airbnb. And when I was making so much passively, I was like, I need another house. And then like I built up enough to make a down payment on this particular house. And the way I structured this deal for this house, the Ghent property, which is like the duplex I have, is a 3-bedroom, 1 bath, up and down, really nice, like hardwood floors, like everything. It's really nice. I structured it with the owner, like another creative financing. I met the owner I met him at Shake Shack. It's so crazy. I had a restaurant. I had like a shirt on from a restaurant, like it's on the water and everything. He was like, I've never heard of that restaurant before. Like random white guy, older, like 65, 70 years old. And he was like, I never heard of this restaurant before or whatever. And I'm dressed down like technically it's almost like he shouldn't approach me. So I'm like, okay, yeah, this place is down here. Have you been there? So I pull up my phone and I pull up the address and show him. I'm like, this is where it's at or whatever. And I'm like, it's really nice. They sell seafood, da-da-da. And he's like, okay, yeah, that's nice. I'm like, okay, I'm getting my food. As I'm getting my food, he's like, let's sit down and have lunch. And I'm like, okay, let's have lunch. And I asked him, I'm like, before we even sat down, I'm like, what do you do? He's like, I'm a stockbroker. And I'm like, I'm a real estate investor. And I'm like, you can make way more money on your return in real estate than in the stock market. So that's really, like, I pitched him. Like, that's it. And like, we literally sat down, ate burgers, ate fries. And the next week, he was telling me, he was like, yeah, I got this duplex. He was like, it's crazy. He was like, he was going to divorce his wife, but they're thinking about working things out now. I'm like, well, you might as well let me buy it from you if you're not going to live in it or whatever. So the way I structured this deal was basically another creative financing. I'm paying like both units like probably a little under $3,000, $3,500. And if he ever sells a property, I get 10% of the sale. So I structured it to where I still have ownership in the property. His dad passed it down to him, so it's more like of a sentimental value. So if he ever sells, I have 10%. So that's the way we structured that deal. And
Hold on. So you live in the property or you're renting it out?
Airbnb in it. Actually, I'm getting it ready for Airbnb.
So right. He owns the property.
We are part owners. We both own it. But if he ever sells, which I hope he doesn't, I get 10% of the sale.
So it's kind of like a master lease.
Yes, correct. Yep.
You lease it from him, and then you lease it out to the market for Airbnb.
Right, correct. But the trick was, I still wanted ownership. Like, that was the thing of it. I'm like, I get what you want, and I'm like, I'll do it, but I want ownership. I want some type of ownership.
That's dope.
Yeah, so I was like, I cannot do it if I don't get some type of ownership in this property.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
I mean,
and we agreed on it. And those houses in that area, they're praising for like 800,000.
Sheesh.
Easy. Yeah. So I'm not. Yeah. And it's in great condition. Great condition. And I ran the analysis on Airbnb. Like, I can rent both units. Well, the upstairs unit is way better than the downstairs unit. The upstairs unit, granite counters, stainless steel, everything, the whole nine. Downstairs unit, it needs, like, it's still good condition, but it's not granite counters or anything of that nature. So when I ran it on Air DNA, which is like an analysis thing that you can run for Airbnbs, it projects your numbers of how much you can make or what you can do for that property. And I had all my numbers and everything set up, and it's like I have my own like mini hotels. Like, it's really cool because
it is like a mini hotel.
Yeah, I got cleaning ladies. I have my contractors if anything breaks, anything. So it's like I'm really kind of managing my own hotels, and I can get like, it's like $350 a night for those. And it's like, okay, that's the Westin, that's the Marriott.
Right.
And every time, like, I'll post it and I'll let people see how much I'm getting. I'm like, I am the Marriott, or I am the Westin, like, because I am technically. I have my own little 3 properties that generate me cash flow, and I still wholesale as well. So it's like I seem to be put the stuff on the stock market that I don't get it really. So I want to have a conversation with you about that too. I definitely want to diversify. So but yeah, like, once I figure that out, I'm like, this is my niche. This is what I'm doing. So
how do you find properties? Because I mean, some of us might own rental properties and they might be in the hood.
And nothing's wrong with that at all, because you can do the same thing. It just really depends. And so if you own rental properties in the hood, you can Airbnb those out as well. It just has to be kind of top of the line. Since the location isn't as well, it will have to be top of the line. So you would have to kind of go all out if you want to top dollar. Some people just want it to cover their payments or whatever the case may be. And nothing's wrong with that as well. But I buy for location. My first house was in the hood, though. It is in the hood. Yeah, so.
How do you deal with the inconsistency? Because, I mean, when you have a rental property that's long-term, you know they're going to pay you every month. With Airbnb, you never know. I mean, you're not going to have a what's in the water every month.
Yeah, but the way I did that now, it's tricks with that. So all you're doing is marketing. I marketed it on Facebook groups. I'll market it on, and it's not only like Airbnb. You can do it. You can do it on Home Dash. You can do it on a lot of other platforms. So I put it out. I tell people, people came, like some of my relatives try to book it, everything. So it's like you can book it directly. You can book it on Airbnb. And then if you book it directly, I'll just close those dates out for you. And then you pay what you need to pay and you get the house.
It's better for you.
Yeah.
You get to skip the middleman at that point.
Right. And I mean, Airbnb doesn't even take out I don't even notice how much they take out. So it's not a huge portion or anything of that nature. So it is a very, very, very lucrative and diverse niche if you can buy in the right locations.
So the thing is a lot of times people think that if you buy in a high-end location, you got to pay a high-end price. But that's only if you're buying it from a realtor. But if you go off market, distressed seller, you could buy in a good location for a good price, because the price isn't necessarily how much you're paying, it's how much you're paying compared to what it's worth. And so that's what allows you to determine if you're getting a good deal. So you can buy a house in Beverly Hills where the homes are selling for $2 million, $5 million. But if you get it for $500,000, that's a deal. But if you spend $500,000 for a house in the other place, you're like, you overpaid. So it's about your ratios, not what you're paying per se.
Right.
I love it.
And that's what I try to. I really try to. I try to motivate like the millennials, because it's like around. I'm 26, so people around my age, they want instant gratification, and it's just life doesn't work like that. So like you see all these people like Instagram models and stuff like that, and it's like it's not real life though. Like if you really find out about that person, they're not living the lavish lifestyle that you think they're living. Like they're at home with their parents or on a mattress, air mattress. It's not real life. Yeah. So people take that and really kind of run with it. Like, I want this life for this other whole person. It's like you don't even know what that person has going on. So
you gotta bring your own.
Right. So when I just figured it out, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna bust my butt and I'm just work hard. Like if no people just gonna see what you do. You're just gonna see what you do. So I'm working on a triplex in the same area. This seller is being really stingy. I'm trying to get that one before the end of the year close. If I can get that, I'll be at 7 doors. So I'll be at 7 doors.
It sounds like your strategy more so now is using wholesale as a form of acquisition as opposed to wholesaling to sell it off, because you know that you can make more money kind of in holding it.
Yeah. So I don't care. No, let me correct that. I do care about wholesaling because it generates my income to buy these houses.
Yeah.
But in the long run, you have to have these assets. You have to have these assets. I think I was reading an article. It was like 90% of Americans don't have $500 in case of emergency. And I'm just like, whoa, that's crazy, because it's insane. So it's like, okay, if my wholesaling business doesn't do well on 1 month, and like we normally sell like 2 to 3 houses a month. We're not super crushing it, but our spreads to what we make on per deal, we're like at like 12.5. So I mean, 3 of those you're good. So it's just really how I systemize everything and making a lot of mistakes. Yeah, like a lot of mistakes, a lot of learning curves, like everything. So the first property, I screwed it up.
Yeah, let's talk about some of the mistakes. We talked about how well you're doing. Let's talk about some of the mistakes you made.
Yeah, so this property, I completely did not. My very first property, I did not know what I was doing whatsoever. I literally fixed this guy's house up for him. Like, fixed it all the way up before I bought it. And he tried to sell the house after I fixed it all the way up. And I went down to the courthouse and put a lien or a memorandum of affidavit on the house. So if you do that, my name will pop up. And I was like, oh, he's trying to sell the house after I put in all this work and fixed it up. And I'm just like, I can't let him sell this house because I already did all the work. So I'll go down to the court, file it for like $60, and I call him. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? Like, why are you trying to sell the house after I fixed it up? It doesn't work like that. And he was like, well, you told me that you were going to give me $2,500 and I never got that from you. I said, that's if you fixed the house up. And I said, you didn't fix it. I fixed it up. So therefore I can't give you any money down. I said, the most I can do for you is give you $500 a month. And I said, you will never be able to sell this property because a memorandum of affidavit is basically like I don't want to say a lien, but if someone tries to sell a property, and your name will come up in the county, they will not let it record at all. You cannot close on the house.
It clouds the title.
Right. So that's exactly what happened. And we end up coming to terms with everything, and I end up being able to get the house and rent it out. But I screwed that up. Yeah. Don't ever fix a house up before you purchase it. Because homeowners or sellers they'll take you out.
You took a risk.
Yeah.
I like it though, because a lot of people would never even do that. And so they wouldn't learn the lesson. And what's interesting about real estate is in a lot of ways, there's safeguards put in place for you. So in your situation, it's similar to Duck Sauce situation where he had, I want to say he had found a property, got under contract, found a buyer, and then the seller and the buyer tried to kind of meet and do a deal without including him. And so he recorded his contract against the property, and it worked out for him. Now they can't actually transfer that property without him getting a piece of the action. And so there's always a way. And I think that's why we tell people to take action, because there's always a way. And in a lot of ways, people are trying to smooth out all the bumps, and they don't want to hit any hiccups, knowing that you're going to hit a hiccup. It's just a matter of finding the way to get around that hiccup when you hit it, as opposed to trying to avoid all the hiccups. They're not avoidable. So
yeah. So like I said, you'll figure it out. Like in real, like if you are a hustler and you really just you have that I'm not ever going to give up mentality, you will really figure it out. Like, and that's really all I do. I'm a problem solver. I'm going to figure it out. Like if it's how to get something, or like all my issues will come from like, oh, how would I gain this? How would I gain this amount of money to purchase this house? And then that answer was wholesale. And if I needed like to make a big purchase, and I'm like, man, how am I gonna come up with this money? I need to go get a house under contract and wholesale the house. Yeah. And then once I started thinking it like that, it was like, I don't have a limit anymore. It's like, okay, I need these houses now. It's like, I need these houses because I want to buy more houses. Like after I get this triplex, I'll probably take a vacation, because I have been going a little hard this year. But I'm serious about it, man. And it's changed my life. Like it's changed my life. Like for the better, it's changed my life. Like real estate's really put me in a mental place of where I can really provide for my family. Like, so I take care of my parents. They're a little older. I take care of them. I buy the groceries. Like I'm doing everything for them because of just how I was raised. So they did everything for me up until when I was in college and playing sports and everything. Because you know, when you're playing sports, you can't have a job, and especially if you take it serious. So they definitely held me down. And I always, like, my dream was to go to the NFL and retire my mom and take care of my family. And like, I used to really pray about it to God and be like, please let me be able to take care of my family. And I thought it would be through the NFL. And it changed, and it's like, it's through real estate. It's so crazy, because it's like I can really make those changes and still provide. Right. So it's like, I'm really grateful for it. And I was like, it's kind of a fruition, because it came to light, like, of what I really asked for. Like, and this is like 14, 15 years old. Like, I always wanted to be able to do for them. And now I'm finally in the position to do so. Like, it's a humbling experience.
What's important for the listeners is that you set the goal. I'm getting feedback again. But what's important is that you set the goal. Because when you set the goal and you have that vision, you're going to find a way to get there. And it might not look like the way you think it's going to get there, but you're going to eventually get there. So for you, you set the goal to retire your parents, and it came through real estate, but it didn't have to come through football. It just came because that's your goal. And so You set the goal, and then you just start taking steps towards it, and you get there however you get there. I'm going to fire off a few quick questions, and then we'll let you go. Definitely a lot of value in this episode. Man, I don't know if we touched on everything in regards to Airbnb. I think we kind of did.
We didn't. We really didn't.
Let's talk about Airbnb really quick. What are some tips that you have for people who want to get into the Airbnb market?
Okay, so when you get into Airbnb, I really would think location is definitely important, but how you set the house up is important as well. So mind you, you guys have to furnish all of these houses. So beds, TVs, pots, pans, dish, anything that you would have in your regular house, you would have to have in that Airbnb, because people just think of it as your hotels. Like literally, you play Monopoly, you have a hotel, and people are coming to stay there. So whatever the hotel has, you should have, if not more. So
how are you getting the funding to take care of the amenities like that? Because we always talk about like construction and rehab and cabinets, countertops. We never talk about like the actual Airbnb level stuff too.
Yeah, so Airbnb, with Airbnb, you said how am I getting the funding?
Yeah, to do all the extra stuff.
Oh yeah, wholesaling, wholesaling in from my Airbnbs. So now it's like I can use the Airbnbs in my wholesaling method to go furnish, to do anything. And I have really cheap labor. My dad, I'm very fortunate. My dad, he knows like a lot of people out in this city, and he has like a lot of contractors. And his best friend is like a really good contractor. And I use him for everything. Like before I even knew what he did, like I call him Uncle Chip and everything. He's an Italian guy, and he does great work. He has a team, and I just use them. So but I do get cheap labor. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Yeah, so it's like I kind of was blessed into a lot of things. But he does charge me. Don't get me wrong. He does charge me, and it's a fair price. But he beats quotes of a lot of contractors. So
right.
Yeah, that's really how I fund everything and get the work done.
More tips.
Everything. If you go high end, like you would want to go kind of high end. So like anything, Kurgan, the coffee pot, stuff like that. That's what people love. Anything you kind of see on HGTV, you would want because I got a home decor and everything. So like they decorate the homes and everything. I'm kind of hands off a lot of this stuff. Like I'll go in the store, like today I went and just bought the groceries and everything for that. But top notch, it just make it very upscale to where people are oohed and awed by it. Like, ooh, this is real good. Like, yeah, this is real nice. This is somewhere I definitely would stay.
Yeah.
And I forgot to say the one Ocean View is also next to Virginia's huge on military. It's right next to a naval base. So it's not. I don't remember the last time I didn't have a booking, honestly. Wow. Yeah. So and this is the slow months. It's the slow months. So I average about 15 days on the slow months, but like in the summer, we're booked all the way up. We're booked all the way up. Yeah. So just go real high end on your finishes. Beds, bathroom, you want to go high end, and you can charge whatever you want to charge because no limitation. As long as you go high end, you can charge your price and no one can complain about that. And especially if it's like a backyard. I got a swing set back there, kid, like it's a whole bunch. Like, yeah, so that's you can set your prices. You can set your prices. And I'm gonna be done with the Ghent one and like literally by the end of this month, it'll be ready for December.
The fact that you found a property that somebody owned that was vacant that you could turn into an Airbnb is genius.
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot to tell you guys, you can do this. Like you can Airbnb properties that you do not own, guys. You can Airbnb properties you do not own. As long as you go talk to whoever the landlord is, and you guys can come up with terms on that. And they said, and HOAs, like a lot of HOAs won't let you do it. But if you can come up with because we have a package deal. Now think about it, like 10 apartments on the water. Everything I do is kind of on the water, as you can see. So
smart.
We have those coming up in the summer that I'm really excited about. And I sold this guy. I wholesaled his house, and his dad had like 15 apartments. And it's just like the connections I'm making with the people that I'm doing good business with gives me more good business.
Right.
So, yeah.
And that's why taking action is so important. Not just the money you make, but the connections that you make, because those connections are going to help you make even more money. And we don't talk about that enough. We always talk about like the knowledge that somebody has. And we say, oh, well, if you go broke, you can always get it back because of your mentality. Well, what about your network? That network's going to help you get it up too. Because if you know somebody who's worth $100 million, who is willing to back whatever you get into, you already got the funding to do whatever you want to do.
Right. Yeah. And the crazy part is the guy I bought the house from, his 1031's coming up. And guess what he wants to do? Buy another house, and he wants me to Air BNB. Wow. So it's like, yeah, this is what I'm really running into. And he's a multimillionaire. He's doing very well for himself. And I'm just glad I'm able to piece connections. But connections, guys, are huge. Connections are huge. So it's definitely right around there.
What are some tips that you have for people who are looking to get into wholesaling as a business?
Oh, if you want to get into wholesaling as a business, don't be afraid of being told no, because you're going to get 1,000 no's. You're going to get cussed out. People tell you, leave them alone. All of that. You don't get that. So you got to get tough skin. You got to realize you'll never talk to these people again a day in your life, ever. So once I started figuring that out, I'm like, okay, I'll never talk to these guys again a day in my life. Okay, I might as well go all out. And so that's what I did. I went all out. And then when you get your money, don't go blow it. I'm at a point now where I let people know, if you do not have a rental, you should not be out here doing anything stupid. It's pointless because you don't have enough money at the end of the day. So if you don't have something you can passively pull money from, you should not be making poor ass decisions.
I like that.
It doesn't make sense. So wholesaling, when you get your checks, reinvest back into your business, reinvest back into marketing. That's how you're going to get more leads. That's how you're going to get more houses closed. And then outsource the things you don't want to do. So if you don't want to call people, I didn't want to call people anymore. I felt like I was past calling people. I hired a virtual assistant. They call people all day long from 12 to 8:30. They call people. And they know they have to have a certain number of houses. We have to have a certain number of leads a week. And once it's that, it gets sent to my acquisition. My acquisition then goes meet the people out at the property. And he normally locks the contracts up if my VAs don't. If he can't lock the contracts up, that's when I step in, because I'm going to lock it up regardless. It doesn't matter. No one I'm going to get the deal. And I feel like I'm the best closer, so therefore I will take that. And normally, sometimes I'll go with them, but out here it's like a lot of older, how do I put this, older white people, and they're stuck in their ways. So I was smart enough to hire a Caucasian acquisition manager, and he's my realtor as well. So it works out. I'll let him. Yeah, he's this owner of the company. Whatever worked to get the deal, it doesn't really matter to me. So yeah, it's just get creative, guys, man. And there's no limitation to this, especially wholesaling. Like, I know guys crushing wholesaling, so it's no limitation. And then go buy a rental, though. Please go buy a rental. That's my number one suggestion. And then once you start buying more, you can finally be free. Like, that's my goal, just to be free. It's not really the money, it's the freedom. Like, the money's cool because you know how to generate it, but the freedom to travel, the freedom to like up and do whatever with your kids, that's my goals. Like, everybody's different, but those are mine.
What's your best real estate advice?
My best real estate advice, guys, would be, in this industry, it's tough. So I think my best real estate advice would be, like, don't ever give up on yourself. Of course, we all have like those dark days, but don't ever give up. Like, because it takes one yes, literally one yes, for your next $10, $15, $20,000. One. All you need is one yes. Out of all those no's, all you need is one yes. So I feel like your mentality, your mindset is key in this business. Because, like, matter of fact, I had a deal that was supposed to close on the 14th. It didn't close, or whatever the case may be. A lot of people would get down on themselves, and normally I would get down on myself sometimes too and beat myself up, but it's like, whatever, keep pushing, because I have more deals in the pipeline. So just keep the flow, constant flow of deals and leads, and everything literally work itself out. Everything literally worked itself out.
Man. What's your favorite business or real estate book?
Everybody said, I'm honest to God, Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's so cliche, man, but honestly, that was the first book I literally read. That's the first one I read. And the quadrant quarters is what changed my mindset. I was like, I never looked at it like this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, I never really understood this. And I'm like, I get it. Like, I get it now. I get it. And then I'm like, okay. And it was like a mindset shift, like, boom, I'm like, I can do it. And I just went and took so much action, like massive action. I didn't care. Like, my parents were telling me to get a job, mind you. Like, so when you have all of that coming against you, and you're just like, I'm so determined, I'm going to get this done no matter what anybody says. And that's what I did. I pushed forward. But yeah, Rich Dad Poor Dad, best mental book for beginners, because you have to break your previous mindset. Everything that you previously were told is bull. So don't even from your parents, because my mom's a teacher, my dad worked in the government, but he paralyzed himself, so he's on disability and stuff like that. So like, it's a mindset shift. I tell this with my parents, like, yo, I'm not doing it that way because it's not right. And it's simple. It's not. You guys don't have a bit, and I don't want to, it sounds like disrespectful, but it's not, because my mindset is completely different than theirs. So, and it's not their fault either. Like, the internet saved a lot of us.
Right. Yeah, that's very true.
The internet saved a lot of us. So.
What sets apart successful investors from those who give up, fail, or never get started?
Successful investors always bounce back. They'll never give up. They'll always push through any curve they're going through. It doesn't matter. They can be flat broke and they'll still push through. And because they know that their minds, and once again, comes back to mindset. Their mindset knows, and you as a person, so like, I'm not going to give up ever. And those people that do give up is like, because it's not really their passion. They're not really passionate about it. So like, if you're giving up, like, a lot of people give up, like, in the wholesale industry after month 3, because you're not getting any leads, you're not getting any deals, and da-da-da. And normally it takes like 6 months to a year to get a lead or to get a deal done. So it's really, how tough are you mentally, and how well can you keep pushing through adversity to get to where you need to be. Nothing else matters. Like, when you can block everybody out and tune everybody out and concentrate on where you need to go, that's how you'll become more successful, because it's not about everybody, it's about you.
Who is somebody that you look up to, and why?
Someone I look up to, Jay Morrison. I actually I love Jay Morrison. Like I said, his video changed my life. I also love what you're doing too. Any older Black male that is setting an example for the community, I feel those are our leaders. So we have to protect these type of guys, and they are so valuable to our community, and our community kind of fails to see those things. Byron Allen, like, the list goes on, man. It can go on for a long time, man. And it's just really who's doing the right thing in the industry, in real estate. And it doesn't even got to be in real estate. I love what, matter of fact, what is it called? Hood Estates. I love Hood Estates. I went to their seminar from, like, when they came down to Virginia. I went to their seminar with MI Billion and everything. So like, I support my people, man, and I love what everybody's doing, because it just goes to show everybody, you don't have to sell drugs, you don't have to scam, you don't have to be a rapper, you don't have to play basketball, you don't have to play football, you don't don't have to do any of those things, and you still can accumulate the same wealth that these people do. So,
and not only that, it's actually more lucrative not to do those things. It's more lucrative to start that tech company, to buy that property, to own the team, to create your own movie studios. Like,
right.
That is actually where the wealth is. The wealth isn't in all the shortcut ways we thought the wealth was in, where you see people getting quick, fast money that doesn't last long. So that's, I guess, one of the principles that we're kind of starting to drill down in this show. Thank you for coming on, man. A lot of value. I think in that 45 minutes to an hour, we were able to extract a whole lot of value. Yeah. So thank you for coming on. 26 years old, dropping game.
Yeah.
For the whole Very cool, man.
Appreciate you for having me.
Yeah. Where can they find you? Where can they follow you? Where can they support your webinars? Any events you have coming up?
Okay. Yeah. So you guys can follow me at Real Estate Cash. That's one word, Real Estate Cash on Instagram. And Facebook users, just Gene Holloman. If you look me up on there, I have a webinar on actually Airbnb this Wednesday. When is this? What is that? What is that? Like the 21st or something? Yeah. So that link is in my bio on my Instagram. So you guys can. And I'm doing another seminar as well in January. It's going to be a wholesaling seminar. And I've gotten so much support from city officials. Like city councilman of Virginia Beach, he wants to come talk at the show. So at my seminar. So and he's a black guy. And is the very first black city councilman in Virginia Beach. He played for Virginia Tech. His name's Aaron Ross. And he's a real good guy. Before he got elected, I definitely donated him. I donated to his and met him. Yeah, because I knew he was gonna win. So, but yeah, those are the type of people you guys need to want to build and make connections with. Yeah.
100%.
Right. But yeah.
Powerful conversation. Thank you for coming on again. If you guys are interested in supporting either of our sponsors, you can check them out in the show notes. We got Hood Estates, Ericka Classic Climb. We also have a trade and travel platform with I'm an Investor, which is Terry Igioma. We also have 24/7 Watches, which is a friend of the show. Also check out the other podcast, the Tweet Talks Black Wealth podcast that we have. We're on about 30 episodes, dropping fire there. Check out the store. Support the store at gumroad.com/Top Capital. All the things that you guys do towards investing in this show only makes the show that much better. So as you can tell, we're starting to add more graphics. We're starting to add more sound editing. And pretty soon we'll have our own studio. So it just brings more valuable content for you guys. So what you invest in grows. Thank you all for tuning in. My name is Charles Oglesby, also known as Top Millionaire, signing off.